Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Don't you worry, Julie's won't grow the same, and people might forget your name. Doesn't matter if they do. Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Don't you worry, Julie's won't grow the same, and people might forget your name. Doesn't matter if they do. Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Don't you worry, Julie's won't grow the same, and people might forget your name. Doesn't matter if they do.
Good day, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Realizing You with Pineapple Grenade by Robin. I'm your host, Robin, along with Eddie Pierce here and Danielle, also known as Passion the Lioness. We are actually gathering today to honor both Eddie and Passion in their intention on bringing forth some powerful spoken word and poetry on the night of Saturday, April the 24th, here in Dallas, Texas. I've worked with Passion for quite some time now, and she has actually been in the modeling industry for over 5 years, so we're embarking over half a decade with her. Along with that, her brand, Passion the Lioness, is explosive as she does have several focuses. She is an author of the book Danielle Unfolded, which we'll kind of break into today. Along with that, she has been working with Eddie to publish this book, and things are expanding from there, obviously. In the event that we have coming up, you can see Danielle along with other poets come together, and it's called Save Some for the Poets. I guess they felt a little bit left out, and they wanted to inspire us as we're still trudging through this crazy pandemic. This is a set that you don't want to miss. I've just had the opportunity to meet Eddie today. Welcome, and Passion, welcome you. How y'all feeling today?
Really good. Thankful to be here.
I'm thankful to have you guys as well, and that we're finally getting to close in on what your niche is. Passion, can you talk to us a little bit about the development of this project for the event?
Okay, Eddie came to me with the idea of doing Save Some for the Poet. I don't even remember how it came about. We just were conversing, and he was like, you know what, I think we own to something, you know. And so he saw me, you know, doing my book and, you know, with all the modeling and stuff, and he was just like, you know, girl, you got something going on. I think we can, you know, definitely make this work. And so incorporating other poets and artists, it just took a life of its own. So I'm definitely looking forward to see, you know, everything come together.
Well, thank you so much for collaborating on this piece. It's very high in my interest zone. And I just wanted to discuss, first of all, that we identify Eddie's purpose in Passion's life. So he is the owner and the sole operator of Rainbow Room Publishing. Yes, Rainbow Room Publishing. And it's a mouthful because he has so much that he's focusing on when it comes to the aspects of writing, in alignment with such a dynamic poet. And now she illustrates all of what women most times encounter throughout, you know, refining themselves into womanhood. So, in taking on the Danielle Unfolded project, Eddie, what is it that inspired you to bring her into your will?
Ooh, man, I gotta keep this short because I'm a novelist, so
Yes.
typically write books. But I gotta take it back though, for real, because the seed was meeting at an event in 2017 here in Dallas, where we both were performing on the stage. And as I said before, it wasn't necessarily the environment for spoken word, for in my case doing reading. And but I was up there just like, my thing is, hey, I'm gonna get it done, but y'all listen to it or not. And Passion did the same thing, and then we found ourselves in the outside of the venue. I was still going on and just encouraging each other, edifying each other. Long story short, we connected on Facebook at that point, and I ended up leaving Dallas, going back to Chicago temporarily, coming back here. And I looked up, and there was Danielle, aka Passion Lioness, with this book, which she had already had published. So please know that I didn't publish it. But my thing at the time too was that I was expanding the genres within my company, and poetry was one that was missing. And so it was just made sense, all the sense in the world to me, that I would come to Danielle, and just honestly, it really started with the idea that I wanted to read the book and write a review. And when I tell you that from there, I saw so much of where our purposes, our calling was aligned. Very similar to myself and my writing, Danielle and her writing, she took some very real, very hard experiences and turned them into something not only beautiful, not only something that edifies her, but something that in turn just ripples out in ways of healing. And so when I saw that, I said, bro, we got to amplify that. We got to amplify that. I need the world to see, what you're doing. And so one thing led to another, and I said, hey, I've been thinking about a poetry, set for some time. I looked at the fact that novelists get a lot of more praise, honestly. And unfortunately, I guess it's because people look at the length of the work, which is really not the way to judge a book. And even then, Danielle's collection is as big as large in terms of pages, content.
It's about what you accomplished. Yes.
And so there was the, all of the magic, all of the ingredients, God stirred up the pot. Boom. Explosive.
Yes. It has been explosive for quite some time because I believe that we're coming up, or if we've not already passed it, a year mark with Danielle Unfolded.
Yes, I actually had my book signed, and everything was complete on my 30th birthday. That was like full circle for me. Like I was like, I just started this new job. I really didn't have the money, but I was like, God, I really need this. I really want to do this. And it was a big accomplishment for me. That whole day I was just crying. I was crying. I didn't cry my lashes off, but it was such a joy. Like, God, you did it. You finally did it for me, And I dedicated the book to my cousin, Lakeisha Campbell. She passed away a few years ago, and our birthday is on the same day, August 4th. So it was just like I said, it just came around full circle, and that was one of the proudest moments of my life. Like, just to have my family and friends there supporting me, and just God bringing it all the way around. Man, it's amazing.
You definitely.
Girl, it's one of those things where I've been saying on social media for the longest that every time I look at my brothers, my sisters, the blood, the word, that there are always these little moments where I find that we were always meant to be in each other's life, because there's another parallel that we had that God inspired me to use my birthday as the release of the book, which became the first night of the company. And it's the marriage of your life. It's the giving back of your life and your art to the Creator with capital C.
Yes.
That inspires us to be creators with the lowercase c. So I'm just learning that here on camera. And yes, it's divine order.
Sometimes we want everything to come by like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I started writing at a young age, but everything is time and season, Like, when we first met, as you stated, it wasn't the right time. Now I got everything, well, not everything together, but for the most part, we got it,
your vision
got to go on,
We both grew.
Exactly.
Because at that time, I was not at the place where I was publishing anybody else, promoting anybody else, or anything like that. Honestly, was scared and intimidated to do it. And, so by the time, you were in your one crucible, God working on you, I was in my other one being pressed down.
Yes.
And then when we came together, like we said, pineapple grenade, boom.
The sweet blow up, baby.
It's sweet.
It's so sweet. Thank you so much, Eddie. I wanted to go ahead and continue to recognize passion in her art and how she is amplifying through the community with the outpouring and sharing some of your personal trials through not only the Unfolded art, but we also see you in that work with women on a daily basis that deal with insecurity, so to speak, that they need to break through. A project that you did in All Right was inspiring women to shed away who they are with the traumas. And part of Pineapple Grenade's purpose is to live in color, expanding themselves through an experience and then sharing those things. Can you tell me the inspiration for that project and name it for us?
I believe you're speaking of, I did a women inspirational video, just because it's no secret, I have hydrogenatis and I suffer with cellulitis in my legs. And so for amount of 2 years, I've had 5 surgeries. And so it was very hard for me, very painful. At times I remember the home health people coming and they didn't want to do it because I was in pain so much, I would just literally scream.
And the places affected are just so sensitive.
Yes, my underarms, my groin areas, my legs, very sensitive places. So I knew I wasn't the only person going through things like this, especially health-wise. And with the weight gain and everything, I just felt about myself, And I'm like, we got to get out of this. Society makes you feel like you don't belong if you don't look a certain way, if you don't act a certain way. Like, no, I'm here. You will see me. Hear my roar.
Passion, the lioness.
So I got these beautiful women together of all races, sizes, and walks of life, and so we just expressed our beauty within and outside, you're going, like I said, you're going to see us. We're here. We will not be ignored at all. So just put it in their face. I'm right here now.
And Passion, you guys, she not only has done that particular inspirational video, helping women to shed away things that they might feel don't occur with other women, but they actually do. She has just recently done a photo shoot inclusive of women who have been dealing with ailments that are more so on the chronic scale, similar to what Danielle experiences on a regular basis. We'll continue to call her Passion. The other thing that I wanted to address is that this artwork I have read myself, and I have a true belief that life is about ascension, and what Eddie was speaking to was really in terms of unlearning what it is that we've been conditioned to then vet ourselves in the way that we're supposed to be vetting ourselves. And if you guys have not purchased this, it is available on all platforms for purchase. She gets into a lot of the intricacies and some of the toiling, intimate moments that women do not want to deal with on a regular basis. So I encourage you to go ahead and support the artist, and we'll drop that in our video here today, how you can reach her if you want to make a purchase, and she will personally message you back. Passion, with regard to now being an author and a poet and just a motivation, was that something that was carved into your plan originally?
Well, as a child, no. I've always, and still I kind of am to myself. I don't really like being in the front. A lot of people don't know that about me. I have Passion, and then I have Danielle.
Yes.
Danielle is
alive.
Danielle is more soft.
Yeah. Mine's Roxy, by the way.
Danielle is more soft, stay to herself, speak when spoken to. Passion's like, I'm here. Now what?
Yes.
The roar.
But Passion just loves to live life. You know, it's almost like over the years I've had a few alter egos, but passion really stuck. And it actually stands for plans and sessions that end on novels. You know, because I write.
We'll go ahead and drop that too, along with our handles and acronyms.
But for a long time, you know, I dealt with the sexual abuse, the mental abuse, the physical abuse, and it took a toll on me. I was always the one where I would just take it, especially like in relationships, because that's all I didn't feel like I was enough. That's all I knew. But I finally took a stand and I decided I wasn't gonna take it no more.
Yes.
Like, I was gonna get you before you got me, you know? So, I used to get bullied, and then I started bullying, but I didn't like the bullying, so I would bully, well, not bully, but I would take up for the people that was being bullied. So, I mean, everything comes around full circle. That's what led me to help others like myself, because everyone feels like they don't have a voice. Truth enough, everyone does have a voice. It's whether you want to use it or not. So, if you feel like you don't have a voice, I will be your voice until you feel like you can stand up on your own.
Right on.
So that's definitely why I wanted to tell my story, because even, I don't even want to say like the younger generation, there's people way older than us that feel like they have to hold on to that pain. You don't have to hold on to that pain.
You do not.
That's not your burden to carry. Just because they hurt you, don't mean that you have to continue to hold on to that.
Yeah, you don't have to endure what other people's burdens are within themselves. You have to stop bearing certain crosses.
Yeah. Perspective in here
Come
real
on.
quick. It's important for me, for men especially, to know this is not a book just for women. It is not a book just about women. While that may be the target audience, it may be the lens from which Passion writes, into whom she speaks. This is healing for both sides of the quote-unquote sexual fence. Okay, there are some things that I look at, and I will go ahead and, I've said it before, it's not no surprise. Same gender loving male, very, very proud of that. Gay for anybody who doesn't get it. Same gender loving as black gay men. But and as a result of that, I've been fortunate enough to be in circles like this, where women were more comfortable to tell me certain things. But reading this, knowing Danielle, it really penetrates that male privilege that doesn't see some of the things that you all carry.
Yes.
Honestly, it for me makes you that much more beautiful, because we talk about the strong black woman, and I'm just kind of looking at some stuff with that lately, and a lot of that it's meant to be a badge of honor, but it's also a burden, and it's a burden that should not be. If you're gonna be a man, and I'm always looking at the definitions of manhood. If you're gonna be a man, you carry your own weight. And then you carry that of those around you. And it's not to say that we look at the women as the weaker sex or whatever we call that. But just like in that Garden of Eden, they were meant to be together. They were meant to work together. My shoulder, your shoulder, under the same burden. But we can't do that if we as men turn a blind eye, to the things that women are dealing with. And on some level, we don't know certain things because we don't give you guys an open space to tell us. All I would ask of the women, and there's a lot of conversation about this lately, is where we as men, who sometimes like to just see a problem, want to fix it, but we haven't examined it.
Yes,
I'm
what's
asking
going on.
more for where on the men's side of things we learn to stop, pause, ask, and listen. That you guys lead us in how we best help you, how we best support you, how we best protect and heal each other. But it starts with reading a work like this.
Yes.
I just want to kind of piggyback off that, because you brought up the protecting of the female, especially black women. I was talking to my husband, one of my good friends, her and her dude got into an altercation after the club, and he decided to put his hands on her. And me as a female and a friend, I don't feel comfortable standing there watching a man hit my friend. And and my husband was like, just stay out of it. And a lot of men feel like that because I get it, you know, you intervene and then you might get hurt or shot, but at the same time, how do you look sitting up there watching a man beat on a female?
Yes, yeah. And we have to open up those channels of just communication, because not only are women dealing with those things, but shunning other folks for not dealing with the things that you probably experienced yourself is a whole lot weaker than to confront those things, acknowledge them, and deal with them.
If I could add real quick, and I'm sorry. And let's keep in mind too that so like in this area you get, right? It isn't always necessarily about me being this man that, you know, the day I'm having it might be that I might go, and I'm 5'6". But when I tell you I got a life grip, it might not always be about me going and grabbing that other brother. Okay, we watch it all the time. When something happens, everybody breaks out their cell phones and video cameras. Who calls this? In a situation like that, if you are in that space where you kind of, because yeah, you do law of self-preservation, okay? You do have to protect yourself, but there are ways to advocate, even in a situation like that where you don't necessarily feel comfortable getting physical. You know, even if, you know, God help us that the woman survives in that case, and that's not forget, men get beat up too. It's not to talk about as much because it's shame. But even after the fact, can you go help him heal? Can you get her the medical attention? You know, kind of thing. So there are all types of ways. God made us all individual with different gifts, different talents for different circumstances. And if you are not the one who is going to be big and burly, you know, intimidating black man to handle the situation, there is a way to help if you choose to find it. You know.
I would point out that it is April, and April is SAM, Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So people, women, men, it doesn't matter. Sexual assault, whether it's molestation, actual rape, anything like that, just give a little bit of encouragement. You never know when someone is dealing with or has dealt with. So just bringing awareness to sexual assault awareness.
And I want you guys to know that Danielle Unfolded is also an agent for anyone who has not come to a point where they've started to journal their thoughts, their experiences, their transgressions, and how they can start to motivate themselves out of depression. You guys need to purchase this book. We'll be back in just a second as we continue to talk about the night for the poets. Say something.
The song I'm Not Scared of Lions and Tigers and Bears keeps on playing in my head, but when I wake up, reality hits me when I get out of the bed. See, no one knows my trials and tribulations. They just look at me and my messed up reputation. My body is aching, painful and cold. Step into my face if you think you're bold. I once heard the term that just because your dreams didn't come true doesn't mean that you can mess up mine. I simply say, leave me alone because I don't need you wasting my time. See, I once thought I was a dime, but my heart said, forget that. You got your own shine. Look at me. Try to define my life. See if you can find the answers anywhere. I'm sick of all the stares and people talking about me everywhere. Then again, I look at the brighter picture, because every story has two sides, so the real me I won't hide. Yes, I'm a plus-size woman and I cry tonight. Putting up a fight because I don't want other people to judge my life. Yeah, that's right. Beautiful girl just need to lose that weight is what they would say. I see they fake smile. They thought they were on my day. But like my girl Monique says, I'm plump like a roaster and thicker than most. That's my motto. And I walk around happy, like I won a lotto. I remove what they say, because I'd rather eat good than have nothing on my plate. Society makes you want to give up like you don't belong. I say, forget that, I have a purpose, so I'ma stay strong. Continue to eat my bread and meat because, well, losing weight won't make me feel complete. The more the poem is, be you, because society is based on one, not you and the rest of your views.
We're preparing for April the 24th, where we're saving some for the poets, where we're going to have Passion the Lioness headlining. And I wanted to take it back a little bit more before we started to talk about the perspective that Eddie has when bringing forth this project. Let's talk about our connection. So we actually met doing some runway, which I don't do much anymore, and the pandemic really doesn't let us into a fashion world space as much, but we are utilizing our resources in the virtual world. Passion, you are dynamic in the amount of work that you've done, as you have pretty much managed yourself the entire way. Not only has she done some exquisite amount of collaborating with designers on the runway, but she has become published in magazines that I cannot count at this point. And when I tell you, confidence to boot, very, very proud of you. You're welcome. Can you talk a little bit about how you use modeling as a vehicle? Because I can attest to you that for me, modeling is a vehicle to a much bigger purpose. Talk to us.
Well, initially I started modeling because writing was just too much for me. The words just were too much to bear. So I use modeling as a sense of confidence, you know, getting my confidence back. It gave me that adrenaline rush, and once I started, I was a little bit nervous. I was like, I can't do that, man. You know how we kind of talk ourselves out of it. But once I kept on working at it, runway was definitely, I started with runway, but over the years, you know, even as a teenager, I love taking pictures. So once I started, I got my first, I submitted to a magazine and I got in. Baby, you couldn't tell me nothing. Baby, I thought I was
don't tell her a dang thing, you hear me?
I thought I was a plus size Tyra Banks or somebody. But
you are. Come on, Takara.
You can drop the plus size.
Come on, the first plus size model.
But it's not about the money for me. It's mostly, like I said, about the confidence and giving others the confidence to just be themselves. I don't do runway right now because I can't really do heels right now because of my condition and my legs. But I love me a good photo. Yes. So just collaborating with other beautiful ladies and designers, photographers, it's amazing.
So, can I ask you a question with regard to how much you do to esteem others? Can you talk about some of the pointed things that maybe people don't discuss when you were speaking at the beginning of this set? It was more so in terms of how you would try to talk yourself out. What are some of the thoughts that would run through your mind, making you feel self-doubt?
Oh, you're not beautiful enough. You too big. Don't nobody want to see you. You know, just stuff like that. The enemy inside your mind. Sometimes we can be our worst critics, you know. And so once you get to a point where even though you might have those doubts, you put that away and you just go out there and you give your best, you give your all. And baby, like I said before, you will see me, honey.
Yes. I definitely think that Passion has been a true success. She is a front runner, a trailblazer. Running alongside of her has been tremendous because we've been able to not only share a space on the runway, but also share some of the dynamic purpose that we have to create something bigger. And we live in Dallas, Fort Worth. It's not, you know, fashion central. It's not. So to be dynamic in your craft here is one of the most courageous things that you can do, because so many people want to fit you inside of a box because they've already planted something that's grown and developed, but you have all of the power to attain what it is that you want to, creating your own dynamic, creating your own niche. And it's a wheelhouse that, you know, may not exist, but you creating it is success all in itself. She made a great point about, you know, not caring about the money, because it's a difference between you actually having a calling to fulfill. I don't think that I'm one of those people who's gonna drop from the face of this earth until that calling is fulfilled. And to see, you know, young creators, inclusive of Eddie Pierce here, who is the one and sole, you know, owner and operator of a publishing company, is tremendous. And I just want to thank you guys for being those front runners and just continuing to wield out what our future generation is to see, because we have some great things on the rise.
You do the same thing. You do the same thing.
Thank you.
You do, sincerely.
I really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys allowing me to support you on this platform. Let's get into the poets. So, Eddie, can you talk to us about what it is that you envision for this particular night?
Well, as I said before, the idea just being that I've known some dynamic poets, spoken word artists for some years. And to be quite honest, it's an art form that I hold in the very high esteem, because as you see in this interview and in my writing, I have a hard time being brief. But when I look at the ability of a poet like Danielle to say something in a word or a sentence that takes me pages and chapters and a whole book, you know, and the message is not only concise, but it's beautiful and it's clear. You know, every time I see something like that, I just instantly go up. And so, you know, I mentioned beforehand too that I just know that there's a lot more focus, unless you're a Maya Angelou, or please help me, what was the young lady that just did the inauguration? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, we know.
I can't think of her name.
Amanda somebody.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, if you're in those circles and if you're in those spotlights, then yeah, the poet is just like, oh, it's amazing. But what about, like, you know, I look at, you know, the Eddies. What about the Danielles? Now, she is big. Regardless of whether you see it or not, she's already the star. We're just waiting for the manifestation, okay? But the exposure, you know, where is that? And so I saw, much like everything else with my outlet, it's part of a two-part dream. It started with the idea that I wanted to write, much like Danielle. I started writing as a child, but never thinking about it as a profession. And that wasn't until I was in maybe my 20s. That's after high school, undergrad, graduate school, where I got a master's in creative writing. That I said, okay, if I'm gonna do this and get in this industry, it's shrinking. If I'm not a Michelle Obama with a book, it's more than likely not gonna happen. So I have to go, like I say all the time, like a Jay-Z. I have to write the books, print the books, have them in the trunk of my car, and just build my own thing. Back then it was until someone else discovers me. God said, now you're not worried about being discovered, you're on your thing. But it was about having an outlet for my writing, and then on the other hand, it was, okay, now once I have a vehicle, how do I help someone else to get that out? And so that's where it comes down to the poets. My focus for the longest, being self-published, was always fiction. And been wanting for any number of years to expand the genres, and poetry was definitely one of those things that I just said it has to, Rainbow Run Publishing has to facilitate that. And so here's my opportunity. I was telling Danielle earlier today, I was like, you know, I've done, anybody that's followed me, you've seen me do a number of big events, release events, but and you've seen me even work with other productions, but this is my first time doing a production like this for poets. And you know, for somebody like Danielle, who is just dynamic and a star in her own right, does not need me, please understand that, does not need me to take a chance on me doing this, you know. So it's the idea that you know, we are still in the pandemic, and you know, not gonna go into all of it, but you know, the state is open, but wonderful people like us and the venue are saying, okay, that's great, but we're still going to wear masks. We're still going to social distance. So we're going to do it virtually, which honestly expands our reach.
Yes,
you know,
it really does.
So it's a virtual night of poetry, and in recent days we looked at bringing in some musical acts, which I just think is always the way to go with poetry. It's the lyrics and the music and the merging of them together is awesome. So the lineup is still being built. We're going to hear some more information about that very soon, actually. But the main person we need to know right now is the featured host and performer, Passion Alliance.
Yes. I really adore the fact that we're taking this on an upward motion, and considering the pandemic being here, we're building out of crisis, and that's a huge topic right now. This is an expansive move. Being a co-host on a virtual show has showed me how close knit you can still be with the powerful network that you have. So if you guys are looking for a place to be on the night of April the 24th, make sure that you're tuning in virtually with us while we'll be here on set in a beautiful space that is going to be so intimate, but also so powerful and feeding to your soul as Danielle and Eddie go ahead and execute on this thing. Let's get into the night and the lineup. So we talked a little bit about the lineup being built, but with there being such an intimate set, are you going to start with any of your poetry?
No, I guess you just have to spill it.
Okay, let them know, treasure the fire. So I think that you guys have really gotten a feel of what these two individuals do. Thank you, Eddie, for coming out and continuing to be an ally for women. Also continuing to keep just a tight knit on all of our millennials as we're growing into a space to teach our young people how to be entrepreneurs and creators. We want to project perseverance to our community, and I think that both of these individuals are doing that regularly by continuing to insert themselves not only into other space, but just keeping that mind frame of expansion is a huge thing. So we want to continue to share those successes. Thank you guys so much for creating another Realizing You interview with Pineapple Grenade by Robin. We want you to continue to follow us on all handles. All of our handles will be in the social media section of our description. Along with that, you can continue to follow us on YouTube at Pineapple Grenade by Robin. Please be on the lookout for more publishing needs that will be showcased in Eddie's groups on Facebook, Rainbow Room Publishing. I'm sorry about that. Also, check out Passion the Lioness, who is also Danielle, the author of Danielle Unfolded. She is dynamic in these streets, guys. Don't forget to purchase all digital copies of magazines that she is posted in. She also has merch available. Can you tell us your website information?
My website is www.passionthelioness.com. So we have books, we have shirts. This is just one of the shirts.
Yes.
We have coffee mugs. So go ahead and hit that website.
Guys, we have coasters as well. She has done a bit of rebranding, but we're still using the Passion the Lioness logo on all of her merch. Also, can you tell us where we can find you?
www.rainbowroompublishing.com.
All right, and if you guys want support from me, the owner and stylist over at Pineapple Grenade by Robin, please visit us at thepineapplegrenade.com. We thank you so much, and we continue to welcome you. Have a great one.
Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Go with the flow with this. Don't you worry, two leaves won't grow the same.
by Robin. Please visit us at thepineapplegrenade.com. We thank you so much, and we continue to welcome you. Have a great week.